Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we have Week 6 of the BHDL4 Draft League, and that is going to be against RK9er. So this is an individual who we've faced twice before, so this is our third match here on Scarlet and Violet. He is a very seasoned competitive battler, and so yeah, we'll go ahead and get the battle on its way here. And we'll see, searching for him, there we go. IGN is going to be Jesse, of course, and we'll take a look and see what he has for battle. So, let's see, he's got the Latios, I should say Latias, sorry. He's got the Donphan, he's got the Electros, he's got the Entei, he's got the Superior, and he's got the Inteleon. Okay, so a little bit surprised to see the Superior, to be honest. Everything else I see is kind of what I was expecting. But yeah, a little bit surprised to see their Superior. Not sure if that's good or bad, but I guess we'll find out. I did have a little bit of a plan going into this match. I think I want to lead with my Grimmsnarl. I think that's the plan we want to pursue. I don't think anything we see changes that math. So yeah, I think Grimmsnarl is going to be the right, probably the best decision here to lead with. So. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that and see how that works out as he is finishing making his selection here. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Pretty important match once again for both coaches here. So we have had mixed results against this coach in the past. So yeah, hopefully we can make it happen this time. Alright, so there he is, and he is going to go ahead and lead with the Electros, kind of as expected as we led with the Grimmsnarl. So this is kind of what I wanted, honestly, just because right out of the gate here we can pretty easily just go for a parting shot to lower this thing's stats, kind of scout what kind of set it is. So I'm going to do just that, and so yeah, we do have Prankster priority on those status moves, so we get the parting shot, which is going to drop his attack and special attack, as these things are either mixed or they can be anything, honestly, but a lot of times they're mixed attacking sets, so that's good. I think we want to go into Mudsdale right away here, because I think getting the hazard up is going to be really important in this match. So we're just going to go straight to Mudsdale and see what he wants to do. He goes for a flamethrower, interesting. Not going to do too much damage to us, and we do get the stamina to go ahead and increase our physical defense. And then we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers. So not 100% sure what he was predicting there with the flamethrower, but he does reveal that. So we want to make note of that. And this turn, he will outspeed us, but at -1 attack and special attack, I don't think there's anything he can go for that will take us out. So I feel like I said, Stealth Rock is going to be really important in this match, so we're just going to try to get our hazard up against this thing, see what he wants to do. He actually goes for a Giga Drain, so he's got that on deck, unfortunately. Going to do some pretty decent chip damage to us, but not a ton as we go for the Stealth Rock in return. And that is going to get the hazards up on him, which is, of course, going to be, I think, important in this match. So we are also going to regain some HP with the leftovers as well. So since we have the rocks up, I don't think there's any reason to leave Mudsdale in here. We did take a little more chip than I wanted to, but he may be a purely special attacking set based on what we've seen so far. So I think we could relatively safely go into Goodra here, so I think that's exactly what we're going to do, as he very well could just be a special set, but we saw Giga Drain, should make note of that. As we come in with the Goodra here to potentially block the Giga Drain, he is going to go for the Flamethrower just in case we decided to switch, which is smart. Going to do basically no damage to the Goodra, which is great, as we are max HP, and he has at -1, and then we do get some HP back with the leftovers. So I think in this situation, there's really no reason for him to want to stay in on this matchup. So I think we're relatively safe just going for a Toxic. And even if he does stay in, getting this thing Toxic poisoned will be pretty big since it has no weaknesses. So we'll go ahead and go for a Toxic, try to poison something. As he actually does stay in, we go for a Toxic. So that's going to be pretty good, actually. That's going to get the Electros poisoned and limit its staying power here, which is nice. What is he going to go for? He goes for a Volt Switch. Okay, so he goes Volt Switch, does basically no damage to the Goodra, but it does give him a pivot advantage. But we did get the Toxic Poison on the Electros, which could be pretty important for us. So we know basically this whole thing's set. It looks definitely to be a purely special set on the Electros, and we haven't seen the item or the fourth move yet, but we'll see what he wants to pivot into. It is going to be the Donphan. Okay, so the Donphan comes in. We are going to get some HP back with the leftovers once again. And so we're in an interesting situation against this Donphan because he's definitely going to go for a Rapid Spin here. There's no question in my mind he goes for a Rapid Spin at this point to get rid of the rocks. He did not take rocks damage, actually, which confirms that he's actually boots on the Donphan, so we should note that. I feel like we could Terra Water Surf this thing, but I kind of want to hold my Terra because he has Sturdy, so Surf's not going to knock him out anyway. So we're just going to fire off a nice little Surf here. We should be outspeeding this thing, as he actually outspeeds us, which is kind of a shock. Goes for the Rapid Spin, which does do some chip damage and get rid of our Stealth Rock, as predicted. We do go for the Surf in return, which should deal massive damage to the Donphan. Knocks it all the way down to like 1 HP. Not quite down to the Sturdy, but again, didn't really matter too much there because he would have survived thanks to the Sturdy anyway. So we get some HP back with the leftovers, and I really don't want to take a big shot with Goodra right now because he is poised to deliver a big attack with the Donphan right now on the Goodra, because he must have speed investment on this Donphan to outspeed the Goodra like that, because even though we have no speed investment, I believe Goodra does naturally outspeed Donphan. So he's definitely going to go for either a knockoff or an Earthquake here, I think, to try and deal some massive damage to something. Unfortunately, we don't have the best of switches in. I feel like Rotom, either Rotom or Mudsdale might be the switch here, and I feel like we'll do Rotom. I think that might be the play. Yeah, we'll do Rotom just in case he goes Earthquake, because if he goes Earthquake instead of knockoff, that would work out great for us. But we're going to try to save Goodra for later. We'll come in with Rotom here as he goes for a Stealth Rock of his own. Okay, so he could do that as well. So he gets the rocks up, which is unfortunate because we have no way to remove those, but it just kind of is what it is. Now, in this situation, this is actually not too bad for us because we can, at this point, we can very freely go for a Choice Specs Shadow Ball here and try to hit something as hard as possible, so that's exactly what we're going to do. He does actually stay in to go for the knockoff, does some pretty decent chip damage to us, and gets rid of our Choice Specs, which is a little unfortunate. But we do go for a Shadow Ball in return, and from that range, that will be more than enough to knock that Donphan out and take him down to 5 Pokemon. So it is unfortunate that he was able to get the Stealth Rock up, and we did take some chip and lose our specs on the Rotom, which does kind of suck, but not too much we can do about that, unfortunately. But his spinner is gone, so if we can manage to get Mudsdale back in and get the Stealth Rock up, then they would be here to stay on his side, which I kind of really want to do, just because he's got the rocks up on us. But we'll see what he wants to come in with to face down the Rotom at this point. He does have a couple of options to switch into the Rotom here, so we'll see what he wants to do. What is it gonna be? Okay, so it is going to be the Electros, interestingly enough. So that thing is in. So he probably just goes for the grass move, if I had to guess at this point. What I want to do, as much as I want to get the Mudsdale in, we should be outspeeding this thing with Rotom, so I think we can pretty safely just Volt Switch for some chip. We could also trick this thing to steal its item. I don't really want to do that just because I don't want to take a huge hit on Rotom, so we'll just go Volt Switch here. We should be outspeeding this thing as we do. We go for the Volt Switch. Does a little bit of chip damage to this thing, not a ton. But we do get the pivot, and now he most definitely goes for the grass move, I would think, here. So I feel like Goodra is definitely the play here. So we're just going to go Goodra. We know Goodra resists his entire moveset up until this point. So we come in with that. We do take some Stealth Rock damage, unfortunately, as he is going to go for a Volt Switch of his own. So we could have got Mudsdale in for free there, but it was a little too risky, I think. So he just Volt Switches out again. So round and round we go here, as we'll see what he wants to bring in to face the Goodra now. Donphan is gone, which is good, but we don't know. He does have, obviously, other options that he could come in with, so we'll see what he wants to come in with to face the Goodra. So he is thinking about this one. What is it gonna be? Not sure what item that Electros could be, but I kind of don't think it's Assault Vest, just based on that it took a little more damage from the Volt Switch from Rotom than I thought it would, so don't necessarily think it's going to be that. But anyway, he is going to go ahead and come in with the Latias, which is kind of bad news. We are going to get some HP back with the leftovers, and so now we're in a situation where I feel like we don't 100% know what this thing is going to do, but I feel like our best play, because we don't want to give this thing a free turn, I think our best play is actually to go ahead and go Terra Water. We could actually, you know what? No, we don't want to do that, because we actually have a very good counter to this thing in Grimmsnarl. So I feel like we just go Grimmsnarl against this thing every time. I almost made a little bit of an error there, but Grimmsnarl actually is immune to both of this thing's stab moves, so I don't know how much he can actually do to the Grimmsnarl. So we'll come in with Grimmsnarl, take the Stealth Rock damage, as he is going to go for a Calm Mind. Okay, so he has a Calm Mind set on the Latias, which is good to note. So he does get that special attack, special defense increase, which is a little unfortunate as we get some leftovers recovery. The only question is, what potential coverage could he have for us? So I'm not 100% sure, so I want to just check real quick on the Latias, what kind of potential coverage he could have on hand for us real fast. What could he have? We do resist both the stabs. I don't think he has anything that hits us. I guess he does have... this thing does get fairy moves, a couple of fairy moves. But would he have it is the question. Kind of want to just try to play rough this thing, or Sucker Punch this thing. It might be safer to Parting Shot, though. Just to kind of further scout this thing's moveset. I feel like it would be... I feel like, because he could potentially have a fairy move, so I feel like we just Parting Shot here to be safe. So he is actually going to switch. Okay, so that tells me that he probably has no coverage for the Grimmsnarl. So he's going to switch into the Electros here, which is kind of okay. We go Parting Shot. That is going to drop the Electros's attack stats, of course, which is amazing. And then we do get the pivot out. Now, I really kind of want to... It sucks because I do want to go into Mudsdale here, but at the same time I really can't, because as much as I would love to go into Mudsdale, unfortunately, Mudsdale is going to get hit with that the grass pretty hard. So this is a little bit of a choice. We could also go into Indeedee and try to hit something hard. That's a possibility. He is at -1 special attack, and we do have some bulk investment on the Indeedee, so that might be a decent strategy. We could come in with Goodra as well. That's another possibility. So we could do... I really want to get my rocks up, though. That's the thing, because that Entei, which is going to take massive damage from the rocks. But you know what? Yeah, let's go Mudsdale. I really just want to get the rocks back up. I know he has Giga Drain. He could over-predict, so we come in with Mudsdale, we take some Stealth Rocks. We are going to go ahead and get some HP back with our leftovers, which is nice, and he is going to take some poison damage. So the only good news about this situation is that he is -1 special attack, so we know we can take the Giga Drain well enough. I really just want to get Stealth Rock back up against this team, so we're going to do that. We're going to get Stealth Rock back up. He does Giga Drain. We do take a lot of damage from that, which really sucks because I didn't want to. And that puts him back up to almost full. But I really just... it does give us the stamina defense increase as well, but I really just wanted to get Stealth Rock back up. because there's going to be a lot of switching in this game, and we don't want to be the only team taking rocks damage. So we do get the rocks back up, which is good. We get some HP back with the leftovers. And we're in a situation, as he is going to take some poison once again here. I feel like we have a choice to make, obviously, right? So he knows that we can't take another Giga Drain, so he could easily switch at this point. Or he could easily switch it up and go for a Volt Switch, predicting the Goodra to come in, knowing that would be a really risky play if we stayed in and tried to hit this thing hard. But I feel like I kind of want to do that because I feel like there's a chance he switches it up to Volt Switch here, predicting our Goodra to come in, because we have the rocks back up, because he probably doesn't think there's anything we can do to him with Mudsdale. So I'm very tempted to just close combat because I feel like he switches to Volt Switch this turn. We could lose Mudsdale if we get this wrong, but it's pretty weakened anyway. Let's do it. Let's go close combat. Let's make a risk here. He does go Flamethrower. Can we take one? Yes, we hang on. 66 HP in the red. Get the stamina defense boost. So it's not as ideal, but we do get a big close combat off on this thing, which does massive damage, knocking it down to about a third HP. We do take the defense drops there. We get some HP back with the leftovers, which is good. And then he is going to take another round of poison damage. So I don't feel like he survives another round of poison damage. So this is where things are going to get really tricky with the predictions again. If he Giga Drains, he definitely takes us out from this range and gets some HP back, which I don't want to happen. So I kind of want to come in with Goodra, even though he could predict this in Volt Switch, which I kind of feel like he might. But at the same time, I don't want to lose Mudsdale and let him get HP back. So we're going to make the Goodra switch here. I think we're going to make the Goodra switch and hope we just get it right. He goes to Giga Drain. So he has stayed in, it looks like, because he's faster than us. We come in with Goodra. We do take the Stealth Rock damage, unfortunately, leaving us about 50%. He does Flamethrower. Okay, so that's fine. We don't take much damage from that, which is good. We are going to get some HP back with the leftovers, which is also good. And will the poison damage take him out this turn? That's the question. And it does take him out. Okay, perfect. So the Electros goes down to the poison damage this turn, and he goes down to 4 Pokemon. So that is pretty amazing for us. Electros is always a problem because it has no weaknesses, obviously. So getting rid of the Electros is pretty huge for us. So he does go down to 4 there, which is nice. We'll see what he wants to bring in response here to that. What is he going to want to do to face the Goodra is the question. I am glad the I'm glad that the Electros is gone. That's pretty huge for us. Definitely a big threat out of the way. So we do have our rocks up as well, which is good. So the question now is just what does he come in with here? Okay, it is going to be the Inteleon. Okay, so Inteleon comes in. He does take some Stealth Rock damage. So this is one of his Terra Captains, obviously. So he could be, I believe, based on the Terra types, he potentially could be. He's nothing that actually resists Dragon, and he very easily could have Ice coverage on deck. So what I want to do is take this opportunity now. I'm going to go ahead and go Terra Water on the Goodra to resist the Ice move, and we're going to try to take this thing out with a Draco Meteor. That's what we're going to do here. So he is not going to Terra, actually, interestingly enough. We are actually going to Terra. So we're going to go ahead and Terastallize our Goodra into a Water type to resist the potential incoming Ice attack, hopefully. We know he outspeeds us, obviously. But we go Terra Water on the Goodra, and he is going to go U-turn. Okay, that's interesting. So that does quite a bit of chip damage to us, actually, but he does get the pivot. So he did bait our Terra there, which is not the best thing in the world for us. But the good news is he's going to have to bring something in on a Draco Meteor, max special attack, provided we can hit it, hopefully. So that's actually pretty good for us because we're going to get to fire off a Draco Meteor on something. So what does he bring in to try to take an attack from us now is really the question. And can we land the Draco? That would be obviously crushing if we don't. But he's going to come in with Superior. Okay, so Superior comes in. It's going to take some Stealth Rock damage. Can we hit the Draco? We go for it, and we do connect, which is amazing. How much damage does it do? It's not quite enough to get the Superior away, unfortunately. He survives with like 1 HP, but we do inflict massive damage to the Superior, which is amazing. and no recovery as well, as we get some leftovers recovery. So I think our play here, because that Superior is so low, anything will take it out at this point. So I think our play is probably, because Goodra is really our best, and only immediate counter to Superior. So I feel like I'm not sure what this Superior can actually do besides glare us, which it actually easily could do, but I think we just go Flamethrower to try and finish it off here. He does actually knock off, which is unfortunate. It does do some chip damage and gets rid of our leftovers, so I did almost forget that thing got knocked off. So unfortunately, he goes knockoff, gets our leftovers out, but we do Flamethrower to take out the Superior, knocking him down to 3 Pokemon. So that's pretty good for us. Losing the leftovers does kind of suck there, and Goodra is getting pretty chipped, but Goodra is definitely putting in the work in this one, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, we'll have to see what he wants to come in with now in response to that. We are unfortunately at -2 special attack, so there's not a ton we can do. But yeah, we'll have to see what he wants to do here. So he is thinking about it. What is it gonna be? That is the question. So he is definitely thinking about this one. Alright, so it is going to be the Inteleon again. So that thing comes in. It is going to take another round of Stealth Rock damage. I know we're at -2 special attack here. I feel like at this point there's really not much of a point in switching to save Goodra. I mean, we could go to Mudsdale, but they're both pretty chipped, so I don't really know that there's much of a point in doing that. I feel like our best play here is just to stay in and try to Toxic something, provided we can survive an attack here, which we may not be able to, but we'll stay in and go Toxic here, see what he wants to do. He is going to Dark Pulse. Not enough to take us out, fortunately. We do survive, which is great, and we do get the Toxic Poison on the Inteleon, so that's pretty big. We did survive there and get the Toxic Poison, so that's pretty nice. We know now that he also has Dark Pulse on deck, so he's going to take some poison damage. Now, unfortunately, again, I don't see much of a point in switching Goodra out here, so we're just going to stay in and try to fire off a Draco Meteor, but I doubt we take any attack from this thing at this point. Yeah, that's really all we can do at this point. Goodra definitely put in the work in this game, absolutely. But it is very chipped at this point, so yeah, we'll see what he wants to do here, as he is going to go Dark Pulse again, and we cannot survive that this time around, unfortunately. So he takes out the Goodra and knocks us down to 5 Pokemon. That's our first knockout, as he is going to take some more poison damage. But the way that he's playing this thing almost makes me think that it's Choice. So he might actually be like Scarf, because I think that damage, I don't think he Specs, because I think that's not enough damage for Specs, so I think he might actually be Scarf. So we're actually going to go ahead and come in with the Grimmsnarl here, so because I feel like this thing could actually be Scarf. So we're going to come in with Grimmsnarl. We do take the Stealth Rock damage, and I feel like if he's Scarf, obviously he's going to switch here. He could also Terra. He hasn't popped his Terra yet, but I feel like our best play here is to just Parting Shot, so that's what we're going to do, as he actually is going to go ahead and bust out the Terra, so I guess that means he's not Choice, but he is staying in. He busts out the Terra. What type does he Terra into? It's going to be Water. Okay, so he's going for the max attack Water move, it looks like here. So he goes Terra Water on this, and we do go Parting Shot, which is good. That is going to go ahead and cut this thing's attack and special attack. And we, of course, do get the Pivot. So that means this thing probably isn't going to be Choice then, unless he Dark Pulses. But either way, I think our play here is we probably have to switch Mudsdale in as fodder. I think that's our play, because we don't want to take a big shot with Rotom. Mudsdale's very chipped, so I think we have to just switch Mudsdale in as fodder here. So that's what we're going to do. We go Mudsdale. We take the Stealth Rock damage, and he is going to go for a Snipe Shot, so he's not Choice. He goes Snipe Shot at his Terra boosted, and that's obviously more than enough to take the Mudsdale out from that range, knocking us down to 4 Pokemon. But that's okay. He does take another round of Toxic damage, leaving him extremely weakened, which is good. So At this point, I think our best play is to go ahead and come in with our Choice Scarf Indeedee, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And so there it is. We do take some Stealth Rock damage, and we're going to go ahead and set the Psychic Terrain with the Psychic Surge. So once again, we have a choice to make here. So we're Choice Scarf, and we should be EV'd so that we outspeed this thing. He doesn't know we're Scarf, obviously. Now, we could go Dazzling Gleam, but I kind of don't want to risk that Dazzling Gleam won't be enough to take this thing out. So he could obviously switch to Latias, but I feel like Expanding Force is still the right play. So we're going to go Expanding Force here, see if we can catch him with the Scarf. He may stay in. If he switches to Latias, that would be a little unfortunate, but I don't think he's quite within range that Dazzling Gleam takes him out, so I feel like Expanding Force is the right play here. We don't want to risk him surviving the attack and then taking us out on the other side of it. So if he stays in, I think, like I said, we're EV'd that we outspeed him. So he does stay in. Perfect. We go Expanding Force. Definitely going to be enough to finish that Inteleon off from that range. No questions asked. Knocking him down to just 2 Pokemon, which is perfect. The only bad news about that is he is definitely going to know that we are Scarf at this point by the fact that we outsped, so he definitely comes in with Latias here, no questions asked. He is going to take some Stealth Rock damage, but the good news is we know that based on his switch earlier, I feel like Grimmsnarl is probably a pretty good switch to this thing, so we definitely just go right into Grimmsnarl here. There's no thought process, because as I said, we do have immunity to both this thing's stab moves, so he could have some type of coverage for us, but at the same time, I think his coverage options for us are pretty limited, so we're going to go ahead and switch out here. No reason not to, since we're a choice, obviously. We do come in with the Grimmsnarl once again, and we are going to take the Stealth Rock damage once again, as he is going to go for a Surf. So he knew the switch was coming. He goes Surf, does quite a lot of damage to us, actually, but we do survive, and then we get some HP back with the leftovers, which is good. Now, unfortunately, I think our best play in this situation is just going to be the Parting Shot again. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I feel like there's no reason to overthink this, so we're just going to Parting Shot him. Yeah, we're just going to Parting Shot. There's no reason to overthink this. I think we actually could Sucker Punch him despite the Psychic Terrain, because he is levitating, so I think that means that we get to hit him with priority despite the Psychic Terrain. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But he could easily switch here, predicting the Sucker Punch. So again, I don't really want to put myself in that situation against the Entei, as his only other Pokemon. So Parting Shot's the right play here, I think, and he does switch. Okay, so he definitely did see he saw the Sucker Punch coming, perhaps. So he switches into Entei here, takes a bunch of Stealth Rock damage, which is great, as we are going to go Parting Shot here. And actually, he is protected by the Psychic Terrain, so that's unfortunate now, because I guess I should have anticipated that, because, yeah, that wasn't great. So we get some HP back with the leftovers, which kind of sucks, but, yeah, so our own Psychic Terrain kind of comes to bite us in the ass there, but it kind of is what it is. So, he gets a free switch is what it boils down to. Let's see what we want to do here. We have 2 more turns of the Psychic Terrain left. I feel like we want to... We might have to let Grimmsnarl go here. What do we do? We can't take... I don't think we take 2 attacks with Rotom on this thing. So I feel like we might have to just let Grimmsnarl go here. Yeah, so let's, I guess, just try to Stomping Tantrum here. So he goes Sacred Fire, and I don't think we take that. No, we don't take that. So he's probably Choice Banned, if I had to guess. So yeah, he takes us out with the Sacred Fire. So that knocks us down to 3, which is a little unfortunate. So yeah, definitely not a great situation for us to be in. I feel like our best play... I mean, we could go into... how do we want to play this? That's the question. How do we want to play this? Do we go Rotom, or do we go... We don't want to go Sneasler. I feel like we go Rotom. I wish Rotom wasn't this chipped. This is not great, actually. We could go into this. Let's go Rotom. I feel like we go Rotom, because I feel like he's probably choice. So we go Rotom, take the Stealth Rock damage. We're at about 50% here. I feel like this thing's probably choice, if I had to guess. So we're going to... I think we're going to Volt Switch, because I feel like he doesn't stay in here. My gut's telling me this thing's going to be choice in some way. So let's Volt Switch. I think that's the right move here. He does stay in Sacred Fire. We barely survive it with 47 HP. We go Volt Switch. Does great damage to this thing, knocking it down into the yellow, but it does survive. We do get the pivot, which is nice, and now I think we know exactly what we want to do here. We want to come in with the Indeedee, and the Psychic Terrain is still up. We are Scarf. We take some Stealth Rock damage, and the Psychic Terrain does actually disappear. But I feel like Psychic Terrain was over this turn. Okay, so what do we do? Do we switch to Rotom as fodder? He knows we're Scarf. So he knows that the yeah, I feel like we double switch back to Rotom here because he knows we're Scarf. So I feel like, yeah, we double switch back to Rotom here. I think that's the play. Because we need to get the Psychic Terrain back up here. So for Sneasler to outspeed everything. So we double switch to Rotom. We barely survive the Stealth Rock damage on the switch in as he goes for the Sacred Fire. So he's definitely choice. I would venture to guess he's probably banned. So he takes Rotom out with the Sacred Fire and knocks us down to 2. So definitely we're coming down to the wire here, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we are going to come back in with the Indeedee. We take another round of Stealth Rock damage, and we get the Psychic Surge once again. So I feel like, I mean, I guess he could be Scarf. That's a possibility. But if he is, then we're in serious trouble. So all we can really do here, I feel like... How do we play this? Dazzling Gleam doesn't take him out from this range, but he could switch. I feel like he doesn't switch, though. Let's Expanding Force. He does. Okay, thankfully he's not choice. So we go Expanding Force to get rid of the Entei. Knocks him down to 1 Pokemon. So the Entei definitely put a big hole in our team. But the Entei is gone, which is good news. So now his last Pokemon is the Latias. So this is right down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. This is a situation that I surely wish that I was not choice in. He comes in with Latias, takes the Stealth Rock damage. I feel like... How do we play this? Because we're actually, despite being up here, I think this is actually going to be pretty tricky for us to play. Because we need to get Sneasler in on the Psychic Terrain is what we need to do. I feel like the first turn we're going to Expanding Force just to see what he wants to do to get some chips. So we'll go Expanding Force. We do outspeed him, we know that. So we Expanding Force. We get actually some great chip knocking him down below 50%. He goes for a Dragon Pulse in return. Not quite enough to take us out. We survive with 13 HP, and actually, I kind of wish he would have taken us out there, to be honest with you. But we do survive. I think we just keep clicking Expanding Force here as long as we can. We know we outspeed. It's not going to be quite enough to take him out. He survives in the red as he goes for a Psyshock. That is definitely going to be enough to take the Indeedee out from that range, knocking us down to just 1 Pokemon. But that's okay, because our last Pokemon is, of course, the Sneasler. So finally, we are going to come in with the Sneasler, and we do take the Stealth Rock damage. We are going to go ahead and pop the Psychic Seed, which is going to activate our Unburden, doubling our speed, giving us a special defense boost. But it doesn't really matter. We just need the speed boost at this range. And we just go Throat Chop on this thing. There's no thought process, and from that range, the Throat Chop will certainly be enough to finish the Latias off. And that is game. All right, so we are going to win that one 1-0 against Jesse, but that was a really good match, actually. Very close, very competitive. we definitely slipped there a little in the middle of the game. The Entei was definitely a problem, and of course our mishap with the Psychic Terrain and the Grimmsnarl was not the best, but that definitely cost us some differential. Thankfully, it didn't cost us the game, but yeah, very tight victory over a very game opponent there. But with that, I'm happy to report that the Philadelphia Pidgeys now advance to a 5-1 record here in the BHDL4. I am very happy about that, very excited about that. But of course, I will reserve my full thoughts on this and every other game for the Captain's Recap this week, and that will be coming soon. So that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.